have been throwing in the past maybe 2 years, safe to say 2 years. Nigerian institutions have done it yet again. We'll find out what that is on this hour. At 1 o'clock, the news updates in today's Wednesday. So we're going to have SMEs and startups at 1:30. And right after, we round our conversation up on the show with a service telecommunication coming out to warn of service disruption because of the level of insecurity we are currently experiencing across the country. How has the rise affected you, personally, and with your telecoms, with your network, that which you use in browsing or making calls or connecting to family and friends? How do you think this is going to affect you this warning? We'll have all of that a conversation at the 2 o'clock hour. Well, let's kickstart a conversation with, yet again, our educational system.
Different ideologies,
different perspectives.
Share your views on the sunny side.
92.3 Nigeria Info.
Let's talk.
Let's talk.
Welcome back. The conversation begins here. Well, the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, according to a report by the Daily Times, has yet again done it. They have did it. Well, they caused social media, anger after offering 1,000 naira and 1,500 naira to its finest graduating students in numerous categories. Now, during the institution's 49th convocation, parents and visitors, couldn't even hide their disappointment and their fury. Parents and guests at the University of Nigeria, Enugu State's convocation ceremony were kind of outraged that the institution could offer such ridiculous rewards to its top brains in a public ceremony. Now, the university granted the stated rewards to its top graduating students according to the awards and award night program booklet of the finest graduating students. Some university employees also drew parallels between the university's meager reward money and for other entertainment shows across the country. Now, this is not the first time. It's not the second. It's not the third. It's not the 10th time we're having such parallels drawn between our reward system in our educational sector to that of, say, entertainment, for instance. We've always drawn that comparison. We've always, wished and desired for a better reward system. But sadly, it seems that this reward system we talk about is even on the decline with education. Before now, we had math competitions, we had science competitions where students were put on a pedestal to display how brilliant they are. And the winners who emerge from such competitions are given 100,000 naira, are given a laptop, are given notebooks or textbooks, are given equipment, maybe for the school, say 10 cupboards or students' shelves. Even at that level, it was disappointing. When you have an entertainment show rewarding its winners for doing nothing that is as close to testing your IQ, and you're seeing people go home with millions of naira and brand new cars and endorsement deals and years of supplies of whatever might be. But with our education, that is supposed to be very important, that is supposed to be priority, we find that what students are rewarded with is 50,000 naira, 100,000 naira, 20,000 naira, and now it's even on a decline. If this report is anything to go by the Daily Times, 1,000 naira and 1,005, I found it really hard to believe it. I found it so hard how we can come down to this level. Why not just give them a round of applause? say yes. For those who are graduating with the first class, a round of applause for them all. That could have sufficed. Or you say yes, we'll paste your names and your faces on the school gates, on the notice boards across the university, so people can just look at you and say, wow, you're my mentor, my inspiration. Why not just write their names in the school's book of tales that Mr. A or Miss B graduated with the first class? Why come down to the level of rewarding them with 1,000 naira or 1,005, or in some cases, like we've heard before now, 5,000 naira, 10,000 naira, 20,000 naira? That is ridiculous. And it makes me ask a lot of questions. As you know, I would always ask and question everything. And I asked myself questions while reading this. Why is our educational reward system so poor? How did we get here? To a point where it has become so bad, so visibly bad, that we do not even have any regard for our educational system, to think it worthy to create a reward system that counts. Why and when did we become so poor? And how can this approach to reward for excellence be changed? What should be the appropriate reward to excellence, for instance? What do you think should be the appropriate reward for excellence? If you were the VC of your school, for instance, the school wherein you graduated, what reward would you fix for excellence? And if perhaps you've been privileged to graduate the best in your department, or with a first class or with second class upper, or you were top 5 in your department or in your entire class, or in that entire school, what was the highest reward you received? What would you say that thing was you were given in school for your brilliance or your intelligence or your outstanding academic excellence that you still remember today? We've got 28 minutes on the clock for this conversation. Let's talk about this. Think about it critically. We do not have a good reward system for excellence in our schools on all levels, from primary to secondary to our university levels of education. We do not have, and I do say so myself, we do not have a good reward system for excellence. As a matter of fact, I think it will be better if we did not even have any reward system at all. We did not have any prizes tagged to coming first class or to having or graduating with a second class upper. It would have been much better. You go home with your first class and buy yourself a drink and celebrate with your family, rather than being ridiculed. I think it's such a ridicule to graduate with a first class or a second class upper, be top 5 in your department, and you're given 1,500 naira. Oh my goodness, so ridiculous. Anyway, the phone lines are open right now. I'd like that you join the conversation. First, tell me what you think. Why do you think our educational reward system is so poor, and how can we change that? What do you think can be put in place to change how we approach reward for academic excellence in our schools? 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003, 0817-923-0007, or 0817-923-0009. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Yes, good afternoon.
It is.
Go ahead.
My secondary school, J2, subject introductory technology. I answered the question correctly in class. I was given 1 naira. 1 naira was a coin then.
What year was that?
That was 1991.
Okay.
Then NYSC, I won a state award. I was given an Ankara material, PCI, and told that the governor was not around. I was supposed to be given 50,000 naira. That's over a decade now. I've not seen a dime.
The governor is not back, I'm
And
sure.
well, the governor is still in a journey. And recently, I completed a dissertation, successfully defended, and I was asked to submit it for a conference where the graduation ceremony would take place. I refused to. Because there was no need. I know my worth. I didn't want to discourage a station where I will now forward it for presentation at the conference and possibly win a prize. But there was a particular prize that was meant for. And when I win it, I'll be given 1,000 naira. As if they want to give me another name. So I told myself, I know myself and I know my name. And I'm not going to answer any name they will give me. I refused to submit. Instead, I sent it for publication outrightly, rather than going for that prize or award. So it's bad. I think part of the problem is that there are monies, good monies meant for this. Or it's possible people in the system are attracting this money. And they need to realize the impact it's having on the society. And then the way forward is for those officials to try and make sure that what is meant for people gets to the people.
Them.
Yes, very important. And then the authorities also should look for a way to make sure that they try and improve on the prizes given to this, or better still, make it more prestigious by making such persons popular, like you said.
Thank you.
Okay, that will better encourage them.
Thank you very much for your thoughts. Now, I've got Livinus on the line from Echa. I've got Sunday from Amudar and Mr. Zion. But let's kickstart the conversation with Livinus from Echa. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm Livinus Njoko calling from Echa.
Go ahead.
Yeah, right from time immemorial, our academic reward system is nothing to write home about. I recall in my secondary school days, in those days at St. Joseph Secondary School, Omatue, during the graduation ceremony, then that is sent off for class 5 students. Then it was in the early 80s. Then you come first in a particular subject. You were only given a novel. Like myself, I came first in about 5 subjects. I got 5 novels.
Wow.
Including my prize novels as a prefect. Then in my university days at University of Nigeria, Nsukka, which is a case study now, of course, then there's nothing there at all. I would only appeal to individuals to encourage our educational system by instituting, if possible, a good reward system. Then such students could be appreciated, given jobs, promised jobs, scholarships, and other things. But as for the school, the institution, they don't have anything tangible to offer to encourage students then as to strive to excel academically.
All right, thank you very much for your thoughts. Let's speak to Sunday. Sunday, I lost Sunday's call there. And Mrs. Ann as well. Do also call back. Livinus, thank you so much for your thoughts. You can join the conversation via WhatsApp. The WhatsApp number is 0809 030 6416. That's for WhatsApp and Telegram. 0809 030 6416. You can also join a conversation on Facebook. We're streaming live on there. It's www.facebook.com/Nigeria Info 92.3 page. You can actually just go on your Facebook app and search for Nigeria Info 92.3 page. Click the follow button and join in on the conversation. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Are you there? All right, do also call me back. Mr. Zan is back on the line from GRA. Go ahead.
Yeah, Daddy, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
The truth is, this is a true exposure of the kind of men and women that are given the opportunity to manage our academical sector, especially different schools. If these men were rewarded, they would have understood the value to reward somebody. But these are children that were never appreciated. So how can they appreciate you? These are people that were never given the opportunity to serve. How will they serve you? It all narrows down to the person, not the institution anymore. The person running the institution. Now look at the Senate committee. How did they get there? Political appointments. So when you put people into such offices, they can never give you the value of that office. What about the VCs and the vice chancellors or the rectors? How do they get there? Do they get there by merit? Most of them are still belonging to one society or the other, or relevant to one political platform or the other, and they give them such opportunity. Go and serve in social capacity as a rector. Go and serve in social capacity as the vice chancellor. What do you expect that man to offer you? Nothing. Amidst internal revenue generated by those institutions, you are giving a best graduating student 1,500. Honestly, it's a shame. I'm managing a little business of my own. Even my staff, at the end of the month, I don't give them 1,500 for the best hardworking. Oh my goodness. These men don't have the capacity to run our educational sector. And it also be a wake-up call to the Nigerian youth. Will you keep voting and supporting these men that will never reward you for good and support you or reward you for carrying guns? The choice is in your hands, Mr. Zion.
Mr. Zion, thank you very much for your thoughts. On Facebook, Franco Confidence says, education lost value in Nigeria ever since people without certificates lord over people with certificates. This anomalism can only be corrected if we have a legislation that prohibits the children and relatives of public office holders from schooling overseas. Well, if we're really going to consider that, Franco, a lot of people have argued that if we had the children of public office holders schooling in Nigeria, the educational system will change and get better. In as much as that is a solid argument, because again, if you were, for instance, I don't want to call names now, but if you were, say, the president of Nigeria or the governor of your state or a senator or a minister, and your children had to school here, you would want them to attend the best of schools and get the best value for their money. In as much as that's solid, like I said, I don't think it would entirely work the way we imagine it in our heads. Here's why. There are some secondary schools in Nigeria, I'm sure you might have heard of or perhaps even know about them, that are so good they can compete to whatever international standard anywhere in the world. And their school fees do not come cheap either. There are some secondary schools that charge as much as 2, 3, 5 million naira per term. Yes, here in the country. So if we were to insist that these public office holder children, holders and their children obviously had their education here all the way to tertiary level of education, they might just have them in the best of schools. What happens to the rest? What happens to the other lot who attend the public schools? You see? So it may not work as we imagine it might, you know. But let's speak to Essien calling from Elelewan. Good afternoon, Essien.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm calling from Elelewan. I wanted to ask, does the school have a VC?
Of course, every school does.
So the VC presented 1,500 to the best graduating students.
Difficult to believe, eh?
Hello?
Difficult to believe, right?
That's very difficult to believe.
Very, I agree.
I don't know. In short, I don't know how we got here. In a school, in a country of this man. Okay, what does the VC think? How does it think? What will 1,500 naira do to a graduating student of that magnitude?
It will set you on
very
your
appalling.
feet.
So surprised. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Chris, good afternoon. Sadly, I lost Chris' call there. Dual to call me back. On WhatsApp, it's 0809-030-6416. Just maybe given the 1,000 or 1,500 naira, you know how people tell you to sow seeds? You know, for those who are familiar with that kind of experience, they tell you, go sow a seed. This seed would open doors for you. So you go meet your mentor, someone you look up to or you want to be like, and you go sow a seed to the person. You give him your widow's mite. You know, you give him 5,000 naira or 2,000 naira or 10,000 naira, whatever you really can afford. And you say, this is a seed into my future so that I can become like you when I grow up, you know. Just maybe this is the school's way maybe this is what we believe in Nigeria, to sow into your life. So yes, as you have graduated with the first class, I need to sow into your life. As you go out with this 1,000 naira, this 1,000 naira would multiply into 10 million or 10 billion. You will have the best of jobs with this 1,000 naira. This 1,000 naira would open doors for you. You never know. Just maybe we're sowing seeds into the lives of these, intellectuals. Let's speak to Chooks, calling from Ada George. Good afternoon, Chooks.
Good afternoon. Okay, so first of all, before I make my comment, I don't completely agree with you on the person who said every political office holder should have their wards or children school here. In the 90s, when we went to secondary school, we went to government schools. We had government political office holders. We had their wards in same schools with us. In those days, I didn't think that you would be able to compare the government schools with the private schools at the time. I mean, the government schools were clearly outstanding. Look at them, the Baptist high schools, and Newtonian high schools, Stella Maris College. All those schools are dead, completely dead now. But in those days, they were doing very well. They could compete with any school in any part of the world. And that was because the government had interest, because their children and wards were in those schools. So the same thing should happen. Every political office holder should have his child or his or her ward in this country. That should be a criteria for you to hold a political office. That aside, I saw a news where some children from Anambra State had a competition in the US and they came out tops. And they were given, I think, 50,000 or 500. I can't tell the exact amount they were given at the time. But at the same time, some people who did one dance show or singing show or something were given 50 million. And the first question I asked myself was, I mean, what are they encouraging? What's the government encouraging? The people who do these things, what are they really encouraging? I think we all have a role to play here. The Standout Nigeria, Voice Nigeria, this, where you bring millions for people who come to compete and show us all sorts of things. I mean, I'm not against that. But the point is, if we begin to have solid encouragement, I can't imagine the guy who said that he was given one type of being best graduating student. I mean, and this happens even up until this moment that we speak. It still happens. So it's a bad one, but I wish this country well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dennis is on the line from LMS. Sadly, I lost Dennis's call. Do all to call back. Good afternoon.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
The truth is, hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Let me start by saying I think we should separate showbiz from education. If you separate showbiz, I think we shouldn't start doing the comparison. I'm saying this with respect to what the last caller said about the Voice Nigeria and all that. Anywhere, anytime, whichever the society is in the world, showbiz will always generate more money, attention, and all that more than education. But the truth is, one other thing is, we are very insincere in Nigeria. Very, very, very insincere. One time when OBS actually was, I think, World Bank, whatever, she said the only difference between a child in the UK and a child in Nigeria is the level of education they receive. And I think Obasanjo at the time, he said, a society cannot be higher than the value it places on education. Right. Let me bring you down to River State. Burna Boy won Grammy Award, and they welcomed Burna Boy. For every artist that came there, the governor gave the artist, I think, 10 million naira. It's the most ridiculous thing you can ever think of. In a state, I don't know if we can just which school in Port Harcourt City, we don't want to talk of the state, would you say it can produce world-class students, not university students or secondary school students? But in that same state, a governor could give 10 million to people who just came to perform for about 3 minutes or 4 minutes or 5 minutes. So you see, the insincerity is coming 201% from the government. if we are sincere to ourselves, these things can change. But let's not compare showbiz, okay, what somebody earns in showbiz or reward in showbiz with education. Let government first of all show genuineness in lifting education before we start going for them. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your thoughts. Let's head on up to WhatsApp. We have quite a number of messages here. I saw a very interesting message pop in some minutes ago. Let me look for that one and start with that one first. Oh, yes, here it is. Don K. Don K says that the 1,000 or 1,500 naira is to cover the transportation cost for attending the ceremony. The real reward is coming. Oh my goodness, Don K. All right, so some more messages now. Let's see. B from Port Harcourt says, in 1993, I was the best graduate in my department and faculty. For this, I got a handshake with a military administrator of my state and my VC. Later, I got automatic employment with the same school. I think this is even better, B. Thanks for sharing. But this, in my opinion, is a better reward. It's a more honorable reward than 1,000 or 1,500 or even 20 or even 50,000 naira. As a matter of fact, even 100,000 naira. Because let's be realistic. There is no 400 level of final year students who will not have had access to 100,000 naira throughout their year. So 100,000 naira is not even that fantastic to a final year student. So let's even put that as a cap. I think that this is even better. You know, automatic employment with a school. So it's left for you to decide, okay, I want to take the job, or no, I want to go seek employment somewhere else. I think this is a better reward, you know. But we've got 8 minutes on the clock. Let's speak to Dennis. He's back from LMA. Good afternoon.
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon. Go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah, my name is Dennis Victor. I'm calling from LMA.
Right, go ahead.
Yeah, I guess you asked why the Nigerian educational system does not have a better rewarding system or something, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I guess the same reward mediocrity, fallacy, and all sorts of unhealthy the developmental process, whatever it is that people put up in sheets. For example, a musician who sings, shake your bottom, shake your this, shake your that, will be rewarded by state government and federal, if possible.
The question is why?
But the man who invents or who comes out with first class and does well in this academy, nobody even knows if he ever exists.
Why?
So it's a fundamental problem. The system does not reward positivity. Otherwise, how many times has Chimamanda, what's her name, Chimamanda, how many times has the whole state in Nigeria, how many times have they called her to the water? I know, yes, probably she must have received some national recognition and all that stuff, but you know what? Not common the musicians that came and won Grammy the other day. A lot of states called them to reward them for going to sing, shake your bum bum and all that stuff. I'm not saying they shouldn't be rewarded, but the point is that the system does not encourage rewarding academicians. That's the truth of the matter, and the orientation has to change. And thank God for Nigerian Info. Programs like this should be to bring about a different mindset and a paradigm shift concerning that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Akanto is calling from Bori. Good afternoon, Akanto.
Yes, that's for my sister.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon. We talked about education and academy in Nigeria, not even on Rivers State, but in Nigeria. But let me take a cue from my proximity, where we have, educational data that give right to even moral or societal issues. And if you look at what is happening in some parts of Nigeria, as even in Rivers. My sister, I visited a school in Bori. Let me say Birabi Memorial Grammar School, Bori. We had the best school so far before now. Well, one of my daughters is in that school. Do you know, my sister? The government and other relevant spirited people and agencies pay less attention to our school. Do you know from morning till night in BMTS Bori, we are only taught one subject,
one subject. I'm studying one subject. Yesterday, they only learned what they call it basic science from morning till night, and they allow those students to go play left and right. So what I want to say, our government in the day should be paying serious attention to academic, to our educational sector, and again reward those people, those students that are doing well, in a way to encourage other ones to learn more. And again, you know that principals, headmasters of school, of private, of public school, are owner of this private school we are talking about. They pay greater attention to their private school, giving less attention to government-owned school. So in a way, you're giving us what you give is just like garbage in, garbage out. They are giving us half production and are giving out half production. So I want to urge the government in the day to pay a greater attention, not only building infrastructure. How many teachers are in our school? You heard some weeks ago or months ago, school in Port Harcourt were protesting because they are not teachers. You see, the same thing is happening. No teacher in our school. Okay, those 13 target teachers employed by Right Honorable Chibike wrote by Mechi in River State, how many of them are going to school? And even when I do my investigations, some of them said they will not teach because principal of the school did not allow them to sell their own private books. So they will not teach. So my position is that it's worrisome, and government should set up a committee and set up an agency. If we want to set up agency and for agency to investigate and ensure that teachers give back to our society, so that our society will be reduced of criminality and crime. I think that. Thank you. God bless you. My name is Akanto, calling from Borokunu.
Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. Sadly, you'll be my last caller because our time is up. On Facebook, Ejikeme Worry says automatic employment is better than a monetary gift, I think. Bobby says, Gabby, I made oh, I lost that message. Anyway, Worry, Ejikeme, thank you for your message on Facebook. It says automatic employment is better than any monetary reward. All right, let's come to WhatsApp. I beg your pardon. Bob says, Gabi, I made a distinction from my first year till I graduated. I was best student in 9 subjects and overall best graduating student in my department. I got nothing except the certificate of honor. Today, I encourage my children on my own and I fulfill any promise I make to them when they excel. If I had been involved in a reality show without value, I would have been a multi-millionaire from the point of graduation, he says. All right, thank you very much for your thoughts. So everyone who sent a message as well, apologize, I cannot take them right now on air because our time is up. At 1 o'clock, the news update comes up, and right after, further conversations. But here's what I'm just going to say. We need to do better, and this is to every private institution, every government institution, public and private schools on every level. We need to begin to do better. We need to begin to set a right example. And we can only do that if we start from the foundation. Like someone said, this is a foundational problem. It's a fundamental issue. So because from, like Mrs. Ann said, you know, from your own time, there was very little attention paid to a reward system. You have carried on that negative legacy. We need to begin to change the narrative, and we can do that if it starts from you. So if you own a private school, you're a private school owner, a nursery school, a primary school, a secondary school private owner, start there. Let's begin to spread positivity. Let's begin to spread value for our education, and just maybe the government and our public schools will catch the wave. They'll catch the fever. We hope they do. I'm Gabriella. Don't go away.